You might think art is just paint on a canvas, something safe to hang on your wall. But what if the paint was mixed with human blood? Or what if the figures inside the frame didn't stay put? In 2000, a painting appeared on eBay with a terrifying warning from the seller. The children in this picture move at night. We are looking at 5 pieces of art that have been blamed for house fires, madness, and even death. And the painting at the #1 spot on this list is so dangerous, it was locked in a grandmother's attic for 25 years. Because the artist mixed his own suicide note and his own blood into the oil paint. Welcome to Global Ghoul. Here are 5 cursed paintings that you should never own. Let's start with number 5. Have you ever heard of a piece of art so menacing, so cursed, that an entire university has to cover it up with a giant flag just so students don't completely lose their minds during finals? Well, at number 5 on our list of truly terrifying art legends, we have a story that takes place in London at the prestigious Royal Holloway University. This is the tale of a painting called, ironically, Man Proposes, God Disposes. Now, if you saw this painting, you'd immediately know why it's disturbing. It's absolutely massive, created by the renowned Victorian artist Sir Edwin Landseer, and it depicts a scene of pure, bleak horror, the aftermath of a doomed 19th century Arctic expedition. You see a wrecked ship, frozen solid in the ice. And amidst the chaos, 2 massive polar bears are tearing apart human bones and scraps of the Union Jack flag. It is visually arresting, unsettling, and frankly, deeply unlucky looking. Imagine staring at that while trying to remember your constitutional law notes. But the fear surrounding this painting goes far beyond simple anxiety. It's rooted in a dark, persistent legend. The story goes that way back in the 1970s. A student was sitting in the examination hall, right there in the library, attempting their final exams. The student was apparently sitting directly facing the painting. As time went on, the immense pressure of the test, combined with the grim, frozen scene of death and destruction before them, became too much. The student reportedly jumped up, screamed something truly chilling. The exact words differ, but the most common version is, "The polar bears made me do it," and then tragically took their own life, right there in the exam hall. Now, let's be clear. University officials insist this horrific tale is just a myth, a piece of dark folklore passed down by generations of stressed-out students. But the fear, the superstition, it is absolutely real. And here's the clincher. The university treats this legend as if it were fact. To this day, every single time exams are held in the library, Royal Holloway covers Man Proposes, God Disposes with a massive, specially tailored Union Jack flag. They do it as a precaution, a necessary ritual to appease the angry spirits, and, perhaps more practically, to prevent any further extreme psychological distress among their students. It's a striking visual, this beautiful historic hall, overshadowed by a tragic legend, and then the centerpiece of the drama, hidden away under a protective shield. It begs the question, is it really just a myth if everyone, including the institution itself, behaves as if it's entirely true? Let me know in the comments if you would be able to focus on your exam with those hungry bears watching over you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the spooky side of history. Alright, let's dive into the kind of creepy urban legends that only cling to masterpieces. Our 4th entry today comes from an artist whose work you definitely know, even if you don't know his name. I'm talking about Edvard Munch, the same genius who gave us the iconic, agonizing image of the Scream. But today, we're looking at a different, perhaps even darker piece, a painting called The Dead Mother. This isn't a cheerful work. Visually, it's stark and deeply unsettling. It features a young child, small and fragile, standing right next to the deathbed of her recently deceased mother. Notice the pose of the child. She isn't crying. She isn't looking at the body. Instead, she has her small hands clamped tightly over her ears, trying desperately to block out some sound, or maybe trying to block out the harsh reality of grief. It's an intensely personal and painful depiction of loss. But it's not the painting's subject matter alone that makes it famous in the world of spooky art collectors. It's what happens when you own it. Over the years, several different owners of the dead mother have reported something truly disturbing, something that goes far beyond the typical psychological effect art has on a viewer. They say that if you stare at the little girl long enough, her eyes move. I know, that sounds crazy. It's an oil painting, right? But the claims are consistent across continents and decades. Multiple collectors have claimed that if you focus intensely on the child's face, her eyelids blink. Just a quick, almost imperceptible flutter, as if she is adjusting her vision, or maybe, just maybe, trying to signal someone. But wait, it gets much worse. One former owner reported an even more unsettling phenomenon that occurred late at night, long after the museum closed or the lights were turned out in the private gallery. They claimed they could hear faint, soft rattling sounds coming from the canvas itself. They described it as the subtle rustling of sheets like heavy linen being disturbed just slightly. The terrifying implication, of course, is that the mother lying dead in the background might not be quite dead yet. Imagine hearing that low, dry sound echoing through a quiet house, knowing exactly what's depicted in the frame. Is it a trick of the eye? An acoustic illusion created by an old house? Or does Munch's grief-ridden masterpiece genuinely hold something sinister within its oil and canvas? We may never know for sure, but maybe don't try staring into those little girl eyes for too long. Let me know in the comments if you'd ever hang this on your wall. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the creepiest corners of art history. Thanks for watching. Number 3 is the internet's most famous haunted object. The hands resist him. Now, this isn't an ancient artifact or a centuries-old curse. It's a modern legend, but one that absolutely captivated the early internet and still sends shivers down spines today. The original painting was created by artist Bill Stoneham in 1972. It shows a young boy standing next to a doll, often mistaken for a young girl, in front of a glass door. On the outside of that door, you can see dozens of shadowy hands pressing against the glass. In the early 2000s, this painting appeared on eBay with a warning that, honestly, no one took seriously at first. The title was simply Haunted Painting, and the description was far more terrifying than any professional horror story. The seller claimed the characters moved at night. They said the doll was threatening the boy. Worse, they claimed the boy would physically leave the painting and enter the room where it was hanging. The previous owners of the painting, who had originally purchased it from a junkyard, alleged that shortly after bringing it home, their young daughter started complaining. She said the figures in the painting were fighting, and sometimes they would leave the canvas and wander around the house. The family eventually moved the artwork to an unused building, only for it to be found face up on the floor the next morning. It had been leaning against a wall, and there was no way it should have fallen naturally. When the family put the piece up for sale on eBay, they included all these bizarre warnings. And that's when things went completely viral. The listing accumulated over 30,000 views in just a few days. Art collectors were skeptical, but horror fans and internet enthusiasts were hooked. And then the emails started. People who simply viewed the JPEG of the painting online reported strange effects. They claimed to experience blackouts, sudden waves of nausea, profound headaches, and hysterical, inexplicable crying fits. One person even claimed that their printer started spitting out random codes and numbers after they tried to print the image. A self-proclaimed psychic reached out, claiming that the child in the painting was possessed by a demonic entity. The internet quickly crowned The Hands Resist Him the ultimate cursed image, and this only fueled the frenzy. eBay was so flooded with complaints from users experiencing these alleged side effects that they had to include a disclaimer on the listing itself. saying they were not responsible for the consequences of viewing the image. The auction eventually closed with a high bid of over $1,000, purchased by an art gallery in Michigan. If you're feeling a little queasy, or if that cold dread is settling in right now, you are definitely not alone. The painting is now reportedly kept in a climate-controlled room, and very few people are allowed access. The moral of the story? Sometimes the most terrifying thing isn't the ancient mummy or the old mansion. It's the digital image lurking on your screen. If you made it this far without feeling dizzy, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the internet's darkest corners. Have you ever heard of the painting that starts fires? It sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, but for a while, people in England were convinced it was real. Let's dive into the bizarre and spooky story of the crying boy. In the mid-1980s, the British tabloid newspaper, The Sun, published a chilling story about a firefighter who claimed that in several different house fires, the only thing left undamaged was a print of a painting known as the Crying Boy. Imagine that scene, a house reduced to rubble and ash, but hanging on a charred wall or lying face up amidst the debris is this pristine portrait of a tearful young boy. It was an incredibly eerie image, and it captured the public's imagination. Soon, letters started pouring into the newspaper from people all over the country, sharing their own terrifying experiences. One person wrote that after their house burned down, leaving only the painting, they tried to get rid of it. But every attempt failed. They tried to burn it themselves, but the print just wouldn't catch fire. Others reported a string of bad luck and minor disasters that only started after they brought the painting into their homes. The stories became more and more sensational, fueling a nationwide panic. It was said that firefighters were so spooked they refused to have a copy of the print in their own houses. The legend grew, and people became desperate to rid themselves of what they believed was a cursed object. The artist behind the original painting was a Spanish painter named Bruno Amadio, who often signed his work as Giovanni Bradlin. The story behind the boy in the painting is just as tragic as the curse itself. One popular version of the legend claims the boy was an orphan whose parents died in a fire. He was said to be a jinx, as fires would mysteriously break out wherever he went. The artist, feeling pity, adopted him and painted his portrait. But true to the curse, the artist's studio burned down shortly after. The boy supposedly ran away, and some say he died in a car explosion a few years later. Whether this origin story is true or just part of the myth, it definitely adds another layer of creepiness to the whole affair. The hysteria reached its peak when The Sun, the very newspaper that started it all, organized a massive public burning event on Halloween. They urged readers to send in their copies of the Crying Boy painting. Thousands of people mailed in their prints, and the newspaper staff piled them up and set them ablaze in a huge bonfire, hoping to finally lift the curse. It was a spectacle that showed just how powerful a scary story can be. So, was it a real curse, or just a series of strange coincidences amplified by mass media? Maybe some things are better left unanswered. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more strange stories.
Have you ever seen a painting that just felt wrong? A piece of art so unsettling it makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up? Well, get ready, because we're about to dive into the story of what might be the most haunted painting in the world. This isn't just a spooky legend. This is a story backed by chilling audio and eyewitness accounts that will make you question everything. Our story begins with a man named Sean Robinson. For 25 long years, a particular painting sat tucked away in his grandmother's attic. It was a disturbing image of a tormented face, painted in sickly shades of red and brown. His grandmother always warned him about it. She claimed it was pure evil. According to her, the artist who created it had a dark secret. He had mixed his own blood into the paintwright before taking his own life. A pretty wild story, right? Sean thought so too. He dismissed it as just an old wives' tale, a bit of family folklore. After his grandmother passed away, Sean inherited the painting. He decided to bring it home, seeing it as nothing more than a curious, if slightly creepy, family heirloom. He hung it up in his spare bedroom, probably thinking it would make for a good conversation starter. And that's when things started to go terribly wrong. Almost immediately, strange things began to happen in the house. Family members reported seeing a dark, shadowy figure lurking in the corners of their vision. They would hear faint, disembodied whispers where no one else was round. But the most disturbing phenomenon was the sound of crying. A phantom weeping that seemed to echo from the very room where the painting hung. Sean, being a rational person, was skeptical. He was determined to prove there was a logical explanation for all of it. He wanted to debunk the growing fear in his own home. So he decided to conduct an experiment. He set up a camera in the spare bedroom, leaving it to record overnight while everyone slept. His goal was to capture nothing, to show his family that their minds were just playing tricks on them. But what he captured was far from nothing. It was something that would turn his skepticism into cold, hard belief. When Sean reviewed the footage the next morning, he was horrified. The video had recorded the bedroom door slamming shut with incredible force, even though it had been closed and there was no draft. But that wasn't the worst part. The camera's microphone had picked up sounds, faint at first, but then growing louder. It was the sound of weeping, moaning, and scratching coming from inside the locked room. These weren't the sounds of an old house settling. They were the sounds of pure agony. He even managed to capture audio that many believed to be the spirit attached to the painting. The paranormal activity escalated dramatically. The disembodied crying became more frequent. The shadowy figure became bolder, and the family felt a constant, oppressive presence in their home. It got so intense, so terrifying, that Sean finally made the decision to take the painting down. The moment he removed it from the wall, the activity in the house reportedly began to subside today. The Anguished Man, as it's now known, is no longer on display. It's said to be locked away in a secure, undisclosed location, hidden from the world. Sean occasionally brings it out for paranormal investigations, but it never stays out for long. So, that brings us to the ultimate question. It's a simple one, but think about it carefully. If someone offered you $1 million cash, would you be brave enough to hang the Anguished Man in your bedroom for just one single night? Let me know your answer down in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to see who among you is brave enough. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries.